Hey, what's up, Raider Nation? Welcome to the Silver and Black Lair. I'm your host, the Bat Fry, of course, Kenny Fry. I hope everybody's doing great out there. Hopefully my internet works with me. I know it's storming pretty hard out there right now. I know there's multiple trees down. Actually, there's a house right up the street from me. It appears there's a tree. There is a tree on the house. I know the fire department was there, so bear with me. I hear it raining. Just in case something does happen where the internet drops out. No, it's storming pretty good here. So a little bit of what's going on here. Normally this would be, you'd see me talking Raiders. It would be the Las Vegas sports scene. But for some reason you're tuning in. This is the first show from Out of the Box Sports you've ever tuned into. First off, welcome. Thanks for checking out the podcast and the network. But so with the Las Vegas sports scene, I decided to go in a little bit different direction with my buddy Rob, the mayor of Las Vegas, Vegas Rob, stepping back. I couldn't continue talking about the Golden Knights, Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Stanley Cup champion Golden Knights, because I'm an LA Kings fan, and it's very hard to talk about your team's rival and one of their biggest competitions throughout the season. It's kind of I got to learn a lot about the Vegas Golden Knights. I was rooting for them in the playoffs and to win the Stanley Cup, but it'd be like me rooting for like the Chargers or something like that, or doing a show on the Chargers. It's not really who I am, and I was kind of half-assing it, to be perfectly blunt. It's like I don't know who these guys are. I really don't care about these guys. So I was like, I need to step away from the Las Vegas sports scene. I'm not a Golden Knights fan. I'm an LA Kings fan. So Raiders, LA Kings, silver and black. We got the whole Bat Cave on Wednesday, so stick with the cave theme. Got a Lair, and so here we are now, baby. I've been a Raiders fan. If you're just checking the show out, I've been a Raiders fan since the late '80s, early '90s, somewhere around there. I started playing Pee Wee football, and one of my coaches' his name was Howie. His name, full name was Howie Shoppel. But the name Howie, and then I heard Howie Long on TV, and of course you see Howie right there, over this way, on the screen here. So I became a huge Howie Long fan. Love the Raiders ever since then. So this is where we're at. So hopefully I don't sound like an idiot doing this. So I'm not one of the fans that are like a guru, I don't remember a lot of stuff. This is the first time you're checking this out. If you see me do shows before, I forget everything. So stat wise, I'm going to forget a lot of stats. I know what I want to say, but it's articulating it. It's going to be a different matter. So let's kick it off with a couple comments here before I get the show kicked off. There he is, number one, baby, Adam Glenn. What's up, Adam? Thanks for checking the show out, brother. Go Eagles for you, right? Go Eagles. And then, of course, my buddy Paul Spencer, who did all this great, did the video. He does all the overlays. Mr. Out of the Box does a great job with all this stuff. I appreciate it so much, Paul. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody on Out of the Box Sports and and Vegas Rob, who's not with us anymore on Out of the Box Sports. Just for getting me going with this. And this looks fantastic. I absolutely love this overlay. Great job, Paul. And thanks for checking the show out. And I guess go Cowboys for you, right? Tomorrow. Go Cowboys for you. The Notre Dame won today, so you're all pumped about that. You got UFC going tonight. Rock and roll. And there she is, Eileen. What is up, Eileen? I guess for you, it's go Jets, right? Go Jets tomorrow for you. So good luck to your Jets tomorrow at the start of the Aaron Rodgers era. It's going to be interesting, and the Raiders have the Jets later this season, so we should have a nice back and forth there when that pops up. So good luck to your Jets tomorrow, and thanks for checking the show out, Eileen. I appreciate it. Tell all your friends. Cowboy Dave Yarnell, the showstopper. What's up, brother? Thanks for checking the show out. Cowboy Dave's my tag team partner there on Friday nights on the Atomic Drop podcast, talking WWE wrestling. He's the showstopper. He's I'm the Bat Fry. He's the Boy Wonder. He's the Robin. And he also does Tuesdays, Extra Innings podcast with Joe Sullivan talking Major League Baseball. He also does Wednesdays with my boy Paul Spencer there with the Dem 215 boys talking Dallas Cowboys football. Paul also does the College Football Frenzy with Bill Furman on Wednesdays. These guys are busy. I'm busy. These guys are busy. We podcast the hell out of everything. We try to put out a good product, and we like to have fun with it. First and foremost, want to have fun with it. If we're having fun, the audience is having fun. Throw your comments out. Doesn't matter what it is. Anything. If the Raiders on your team, you're a fan of I don't know, the Cleveland Browns, and you will say, hey, the Cleveland Browns are going to have a good season. Okay, they will. We'll put your comment up. We'll talk a little bit. I don't know anything about the Cleveland Browns. Besides their quarterback has had past troubles and got paid a lot of money, so that's where we're at with that. But that's what you want to do. We'll talk. Paul once again saying thank you, brother. We are a team. We are a team. I agree 100%. We all put out we do the best we can. So lots of fun. Eileen says Monday Night Football, Jets, Bills. That's gonna be a very good game. I think. Jets coming in, with all this hype, and the Bills, can they get over the hump? So it's going to be a great week one. I'll talk a little bit about my thoughts on week ones here in a minute, especially after Thursday Night Football, watching the Queefs lose to the Lions, which was kind of sweet. Adam Glenn says the Jets are overrated. Whoa, bam, 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 buddy. Shots fired at the Jets there. What's going on? And there he is, Vegas Rob. Hey, thanks for checking out the show, Vegas Rob. Just talking about you a minute ago. For getting me into the podcasting, of course. For those that haven't seen this before, that are new to the network, and checking out the Silver and Black Lair. Vegas Rob got me into podcasting. We did the Las Vegas sports scene together, and like I said, I decided to go a different direction once Vegas Rob took a step back. So. This is where we're at here. I'm super excited for the Silver and Black Lair. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Paul says Appalachian State killed me. Could have won $1,200 on a 4-game parlay. They're in double. Are they in double overtime? Or do they lose in double overtime? That's a question. I know it was close when last time I looked at the score. A little bit of monkey colt here. All right, let's get this show on the road. All right, so I just want to give a quick reminder to the Raiders rookies for those, because last time I really talked about Raiders rookies was probably right after the draft, or during the draft, I should say. So let's throw this out here real quick. First round pick was Tyree Wilson, who for a large portion of the of training camp was on the injured list. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was a nagging injury from last season. I think he did the mini camps and stuff like that, but they decided to hold him out from a large portion of the training camp just to let him heal, let him rest before the start of the season, because they knew he was going to be a big part of the season. And with Chandler Jones being out now for Sunday, Tyree Wilson stepping in there, rookie getting a start in the first game of the season. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch him. Michael Mayer, tight end from Notre Dame. I'm super excited to see him play. I can't wait to see him catching balls and making an impact out there in the passing game. Whether it be blocking, for the run game or in the passing game, or hopefully catching a lot of balls. As we lost Darren Waller to the New York Giants, so there's a huge hole, a big void there, and so Michael Mayer, it's a big hole to fill. He and Austin Hooper, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. Third round picks, we had Byron Young, defensive tackle. He was in the same boat as Tyree Wilson. He had a nagging injury from college football season. They decided to let him rest for a large portion of the training camp, bring him back. Right now he's listed third on the depth chart, so he'll work his way back in. He was a pretty good run stuffer at Alabama. And it's something that the Raiders really need is, a nice big body there in the middle. I'll talk about the starters coming up in a little bit and my thoughts on that. So I'm excited to see Byron Young play. I don't know how much time he's going to get in the first game, but we'll see. Like I said, listed third on the depth chart. Get his season underway. Trey Tucker, another guy I'm really excited. A lot of people kind of were irritated Right, so a lot of this, Raider Nation was irritated with this pick. No, another fast wide receiver. Why do we need a fast? Why are we taking this guy here or whatever? But for everything I've read, had a phenomenal spring, had a phenomenal training camp here in the summer. So let's get it rolling, man. He's sitting currently second in the depth chart. Wide receivers are a little bit different because there's so many wide receivers on the field, so they're always rotating through. So like where they're sitting on the depth chart doesn't really matter to me. But I expect him to get a lot of playing time coming up. So I want to see him out there. Super fast, great hands. I want to see him catching the ball. It'd be awesome to see him and Hunter Renfrow out there on the same side or something. Just wreaking havoc. Smaller speed guys just wreaking havoc. With all these sharp cuts and stuff, and across the middles, and great route running. So it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch that as well. 4th round pick, Jacorian Bennett, nickelback, another guy that had a terrific training camp. A lot of the veteran defensive backs have been praising him over and over and over again. It looks like if the Raiders start off in a nickelback, Jacorian Bennett will get the start if they start it in their nickel package. But he'll start as the nickel back. If they don't start in their nickel package, well, then he'll be rotating through as cornerback. And when there's a nickel defense in there, he will be your nickel back. So really excited to see Jacorian Bennett play. Aiden O'Connell, obviously I don't expect Aiden O'Connell to play unless something happens to Jimmy G. Aiden O'Connell right now is listed on the 3rd on the depth chart behind Brian Hoyer. There's a whole thing in the NFL. I don't know what it is exactly, but I think there's a rule with your quarterbacks, like your backup quarterbacks. I'm not sure what it is, but I could have swore I heard something where a lot of teams will list their second string quarterback as the third string quarterback because he goes into play and the second string quarterback can't play. I don't know exactly what it is. I could be just making this stuff up. I'm not 100% sure. I could have swore I heard something like that, but right now Aiden O'Connell's listed as your third string quarterback, and he had a phenomenal preseason and stuff like that, and summer camp. So I'll tell you what, I was really skeptical. I was kind of bummed when they took Aiden O'Connell, but everything I've seen and heard and read about him, really has me excited. So I was talking to a Purdue fan as well. I can't remember. It was like a month and a half ago, and he was telling me that we got a hell of a quarterback. And he said I said this past season, his numbers weren't all that great. And he said he had a lot of injuries and a lot of inexperienced wide receivers. He said, and that really hurt him. He said, but if you look at the seasons before, his numbers were phenomenal, very accurate. He's not a running quarterback. Obviously, he looks super unathletic. But there's another quarterback that I know looked super unathletic. I don't want to compare the two because it's like comparing a nickel to a $100 bill, but Tom Brady, he didn't look super athletic coming out of college either, so, again, I'm not comparing Aiden O'Connell to Tom Brady. I'm just saying, give the dude a chance if he does get in there for some reason. And, if Jimmy G happens to be running up the sideline, gets his clock clean, breaks his ribs, and, Aiden O'Connell decides to, is brought into the game, a la Tom Brady and Drew Bledsoe, then so be it. But we'll just wait for that. Patiently wait. So I really like Aiden O'Connell. 5th round pick was this year was Chris Smith, the second safety. Currently, he's listed, I believe it was 2nd on the depth chart as safety. I haven't heard a whole lot about him through preseason training camp. 6th round pick, Amari Burney, linebacker, like kind of like a hybrid linebacker for the Raiders. He's currently listed 2nd on the depth chart at outside linebacker. Another guy I haven't heard a whole lot about through training camp. And their 7th round pick, one of the greatest names I think in all of sports, Nesta Jade Silvera. I just love it. Nesta Jade sounds like a soft drink. Sounds like a soda or like a fancy Brazilian iced tea or something. Nesta Jade. I don't know. But Nesta Jade Silvera, defensive tackle. Again, another guy I haven't heard a whole lot about, but he's sitting currently 3rd on the depth chart. So I'm really excited to see what these rookies can do coming up. What rookies are going to get some playing time, a lot of playing time, or a little bit of playing time. It doesn't really matter. But starting week 1, like I said, I think Trey Tucker's going to see some playing time. Jacorian Bennett, And Tyree Wilson obviously appears to be getting a start with Chandler Jones out. So that's what that's what it looks like to me. Hit up some comments here before I move on to my next topic. Talking about Appalachian State here. Paul Spencer says they lost. Okay, double overtime. That's, they hung in there. Who'd they play, Paul? I don't remember. I did look because you put on our private group message about having money on that game. And Appalachian State was really pushing hard, trying to go for that upset, but I don't remember who they were playing right off the top of my head right now. Adam Glenn is just Adam Glenn is full of venom right now, full of venom. All New York teams are overrated. You know what, Adam Glenn? I'm telling you, one of these days, buddy, one of these days. Paul Spencer, I'm a Mets fan, so that's why I said, the whole New York thing. Paul Spencer says 40-34. Wow, what a great game. It's a bummer that comes down to double overtime and they just lose like that. The whole college football thing where I think it goes to I think it's college football where if it goes past so many overtimes and they start running plays, I think on the 3-yard line or something like that as 2-point conversions, which is like insane if you ask me. Adam Glenn says the Raiders should have found a way to draft Hooker. Well, and that's who I was hoping. That's who I was pulling for the Raiders to draft. But like I said, everything I heard about Aiden O'Connell, I really like. So maybe they got the right quarterback. Maybe Hooker wasn't, maybe they had concerns about Hooker's knee. I mean, I don't know. Or maybe they just had concerns about Hooker playing in Las Vegas, or Nevada, the state of Nevada. Hooker, that's, streetwalkers. You know what I mean? Ladies of the night. Vegas Rob says Aiden O'Connell looked good in preseason. Absolutely, he looked very good in preseason. I was very happy with that. Got a ton of playing time. Rob says Jimmy G better watch out. Yeah, I mean, if Jimmy, for some reason, you don't really expect it because Jimmy, overall for his career, when healthy, he does play fairly well. Nothing outstanding though. Nothing that really flies off the paper, but good enough. Numbers that I've talked about on the Vegas sports team before, numbers comparable to Derek Carr, which is kind of like, mind-boggling to me that we get rid of Derek Carr and bring in a guy that had pretty close to the same numbers as Derek Carr, but had the luxury of playing with great defenses. So, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, Jimmy G, if he doesn't get off to a good start, or the Raiders don't get off to a good start, you could see some sweeping changes there. Eileen says, "Them fighting words, Adam. You're making enemies, brother. Adam Glenn, I'm telling you what, dude. These New York fans are looking. Oh, she even got the boxing gloves out, Adam Glenn. Oh boy, Monday. I ain't running anywhere, Adam Glenn. I'll be looking for you, buddy. I feel a headlock in your future." Dave Yarnell says, "Who is the backup?" The Raiders, big man. So I assume you mean the backup quarterback. So right now, if you're looking at depth chart wise, it's listed as Jimmy G, you're 1, Brian Hoyer 2, and Aiden O'Connell 3. But I think if something were to happen, I would hope that they go Aiden O'Connell, even though he is a rookie. I really don't want to see Brian Hoyer taking snaps at all. But I'm not the genius, I guess. Josh McDummie's the genius. Still not a huge Josh McDaniels fan. I'm just trying to be supportive. Go Josh McDaniels. Bring in more Patriots, that bonus. So Rob Hefner said, glad to see Josh back. I hope White gets incorporated with the offense. So yes, Josh Jacobs, great to see him come back. And I don't want to pat myself on the back or anything like that, but I did say after Saquon Barkley signed for his deal, is like 1 year, $11 million or something like that. I said Josh Jacobs is probably going to sign 1 year, $12 million, just because that nitpicky stuff is really annoying. I get that he wants multiple years, but I mean, holding out until Saquon gets his deal, 1 year, 11, then waiting another week or two. Okay, 1 year, $12 million. I'm like, really? That's, I mean, seriously. But anyway, but it's still great to see Josh Jacobs back. He says he feels great. Said the tank is completely full. No hits during the preseason, so that means he's feeling vibrant. Feeling athletic, feeling not beat up. But what happens when you don't practice with your team or you don't take those hits is you're a little bit softer. You don't build as they say, like if you're gripping a baseball bat, the first bunch of times you're gripping a baseball bat, you start getting calluses on your hands. But after so long, or blisters, after so long, they callus, they don't bother you anymore. So it's, we got to harden Josh Jacobs here. You see a lot of guys holding out through training camp. They end up getting injured or they end up having subpar seasons because they're in and out of the lineup due to injuries, pulled muscles and stuff like that. So hopefully that's not the case with Josh Jacobs. But like Vegas Rob said, hopefully Zamir White gets more incorporated into the offense this year. Last year, they used him barely, very sparingly, barely, and it was so frustrating. Josh Jacobs, especially when they'd actually give the ball to Josh Jacobs, 20-plus times, like why not throw Zamir White in there for a handful of carries to kind of give Josh a break? Because they rode him with, I think it was 400-some touches last year, Josh Jacobs. I mean, there was no reason to really, throw all that workload on him, especially when you have running backs that can run the ball. But, they rode that workhorse. And, Josh Jacobs, leading rusher last year, had a phenomenal season, career year. He deserves to get paid. He deserves to get a couple year contract. But, there was no reason for him to carry that kind of workload. And you worry about that workload, in a year or two, that's going to wear him down fast. That's usually what happens to running backs. Now you look at somebody like Derrick Henry, who had another good season last year. I think he finished second in rushing last year behind Josh Jacobs. I believe that's what it was. And I think Josh Jacobs had like 1,600. And I think Derrick Henry might have 1,400 maybe or something like that. And he doesn't seem to be slowing down all that much. He's not – I don't think he's as dominant as he was 2-3 years ago, Derrick Henry, but he's still a very, very good running back. Let's go Eileen here. Eileen says – that did not come up. Hang on. There it goes. Eileen says, boo! Boo! We don't get Raiders game as our CBS late. We get the stinky Eagles versus the stinky Pats. Hell! I agree. So what I end up doing, I have an app on my phone called Dofu Sports, and you can watch the games for free on there. The only problem is there's a whole bunch of different links, and it kicks you out constantly. I'll be sitting there watching the game for like 30 seconds, and then it kicks me out, and I got to close the app, open the app back up, pick another link, and watch it. I might be able to watch a whole game or 3/4 of a game without any interruption. Well, all of a sudden, every 5 seconds, I open it up, it closed. I open it up, that one freezes. I open it up, that one closes. It's super frustrating, but that's the only way I can watch the Raiders game right now. And I'm not going to pay the money for the NFL package and or anything like that, the NFL game package or whatever the hell it's called. I don't know, on YouTube TV or wherever they're doing it from now. So it is what it is. Rob Hefner says, pat yourself on the back, brother. All right. Good old Barry Horowitz style. I will do that, Rob. Thank you. Rob says, Adam Glenn is bringing fighting words tonight. Yes, well, he does. I'll tell you what, Rob. Every night, Adam Glenn's bringing fighting words now. That dude is all feisty and fiery for some reason. I don't know. Somebody must have crapped on his porch or pissed in his Cheerios. I don't know what's going on. My boy Paul says, wow, dude just snapped his elbow in half on a slam in the prelim. Oh, man, that sucks. I hate watching those. Like, whenever I go on a TikTok and I see a fight and like the caption is like, oh my God, his leg, or oh my God, the arm. I put my hand, because I want to see it, but I don't want to see it. So I go like this. I put my hand up there and I cover most of the screen so I don't see it, but I still kind of see it. It's just one of those things. It sounds stupid, but that's what it is. That's unfortunate though. That sucks. Something that you work so hard for a fight, and then to have your arm snapped, you're going to be out for a while. Yeah, that's a bummer. And especially prelims, those are usually guys that are trying to work up the fight card. So Adam says, Ken became an Eagles fan. You can watch all games. If they let me go to all the games, I still would not be an Eagles fan. Adam Glenn. It's nothing against the Eagles. You know, I'm not a huge a lot of the Eagles fans I'm not big fans of because I think they can be douchey. Not all of them, just like some like the ones that you see fighting in the stadium. That's every stadium, though, so I'm not going to go ahead and say that's just the Eagles fans. Every week you see multiple videos of fans fighting in the stands or whatever, but for some reason there's an aura, a stigma about the Eagles fans. And you know, I've never been to an Eagles game, but I've been to Phillies games, and I've seen fans getting other fans of the opposing team getting in their face. I've heard stories of like a Cowboys fan going to the bathroom, wearing a Cowboys jersey and is surrounded and heckled or pushed by Eagles fans. I mean, for what? For what? I mean, like, seriously, honestly, that's what we got to do as adults is, somebody's trying to take a piss just because they're wearing an opposite jersey. Like, it's stupid. Like, now I could see if that guy's like, oh, I'm pissing on the Eagles or, stuff like, really egging it on. But if he's not, like, why are we doing this? We're this is not how society functions, people. But again, I assume that happens at every stadium. So I shouldn't say just Eagles fans, but since I'm close to Philadelphia, that is what it is. But I'm sure it happens everywhere. Rob says, I have Pony's Bar down the street from my house. I might show up in Raiders gear. Go for it. Go for it, Rob. What are they going to do to you? Make sure you take Celeste with you, though. As backup. Pitt making a comeback. There we go. I was listening to the game on the way home from Allentown. I was in the Allentown area all day for some softball. Then we had some a little bit of meat there at the Longhorn Steakhouse, taking the old family out for some steak. So Pitt was down. The last I seen was 17-7. So there we go. Pitt coming back on Cincinnati. That's great. You don't like Philly fans. It's not all Philly fans, Adam. I like you. All these guys on the network here. I like those guys. A bunch of them are Philly fans. It's just there are some that are super obnoxious. It is what it is. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. All right, so moving on to Jimmy G. So let me get Adam's comment off there. So I should just leave it up there the whole time. The hell with it. So Jimmy G, first season as Raiders quarterback, and I've mentioned it before in this episode about how his numbers I thought were somewhat similar to Derek Carr, but he's been able to build his name as a winning quarterback off of great defense and great run games and stuff like that, and not taking the big chances. He doesn't throw the ball downfield a lot, doesn't throw it deep much at all. From past experience, because I don't remember the stats exactly, but when the Raiders first picked Jimmy G up, which our boy Adam Glenn, he said it last year. I think it might have been freaking September or October. He said Jimmy G was going to be the Raiders quarterback. Here we are. Adam Glenn there with his crystal ball. But Jimmy G doesn't throw the ball downfield, and I could have swore I seen a stat where it said last season he was the worst throwing down the field. He had the fewest attempts, and I think 0 completions with I think that was 20 plus yards or something like that. Whatever it was. Derek Carr had the most attempts, and I think the most completions, if I remember correctly, or at least up near the top. So two totally different quarterbacks. But this time around, Jimmy G is not going to have the benefit of a defense that is lights out, or at least very good. Hopefully the Raiders defense does bounce back and is very good, so I'm not expecting that. You have to be realistic sometimes. I feel they did get some decent pieces, but I still think that they need there's some weaknesses to this defense where it's going to hold them back. But I said this last season going into the season, if the Raiders are able to be a mediocre defense, we can win a lot of games because their offense was going to be spectacular. Now, Derek Carr was turning the ball over a lot, wasn't grasping or wasn't playing nice with Josh McDaniels' offense. From some stuff that I've read recently, McDaniels, really did not like Derek Carr because Derek Carr would audible out of some of his calls because Derek Carr thought there'd be better play. And that pissed McDaniels off. So instead of trusting your quarterback, you get mad because he called you, said your play is not good in this position, and called a different one. It sounds kind of crybabyish, sounds kind of vindictive. It's not a good look on Josh McDaniels. If that's actually what happened, it's not a good look. Your quarterback should be able to come up to the line. If it's something that's not going to do well against the defense that's shown, he has to be able to audible out of it into something better, or at least try something different. But from everything I read, whether it's true or not, because there's stuff you can read all day on the internet that's not true. There's like those pills that I bought that said it enhanced me an extra 2 inches. That's wrong. It didn't happen. I didn't buy any pills. Anyway, the extends. Anyway, the so if that's Jimmy G, he's a good system quarterback. He's gonna listen, I think. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting season with Jimmy G. It's an offensive line. Also, Jimmy G's not super mobile. He can scramble in the pocket. He does. He doesn't have escapability, but he's kind of wormy, kind of snakish in the backfield, where he can move in and out, kind of slither his way through without getting sacked. But he's very fragile. So if he is getting sacked, there is a good chance that he's going to end with a broken leg or a twisted ankle or his arm on top of his head or something like that. So the offensive line last season wasn't terrible. It was better than thought. I think the Raiders going into the season, I think had I don't know if it was a 31st ranked offensive line or the 30th, something like that. It was near the bottom of the offensive lines, and I feel like I think they ended up finishing near the middle somewhere. So there were parts of the season where they were very good. They didn't allow a sack in a couple games. The pressures were down, but then there was games like the last game of the season where they gave up, I think, 6 sacks. So, I mean, it's good with the bad. Had some young guys working their way through there. I felt like Jermaine Ulemanor had a really bad start, an okay middle, but a strong finish. So hopefully he can carry that over to this season. That remains to be seen. And we'll see how that line meshes. A couple different cogs in there. But I'll talk about that a little bit more once I get to the starting lineup. So we also have a bunch of new Raiders on the team. I'll go over a couple of them. Like Jimmy G, I've talked about him. Austin Hooper, tight end. So we lost, like I said, Darren Waller. And this is where I go blank all the time. Our second string tight end, I can't remember his name. He ended up going to New Orleans. He was diagnosed with cancer. I can see him. I could see his number 87. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. This is me. This is who I am. I can't remember anything. So you just got to kind of deal with it and just take my word for it. But we lost 2 tight ends in the offseason. So we brought in O.J. Howard and Austin Hooper. O.J. Howard was, I think, cut or traded. I think he was cut a few weeks ago. And so you have Austin Hooper and Michael Mayer and I think Jesper Horsted as your third string. Cole Fotheringham, he was cut but then re-signed, I think, for the practice squad, which I think Cole Fotheringham had a pretty good preseason as well. Yeah, especially first game. I think it was the Raiders' first preseason game. I think he did really well. But yeah, so we have Austin Hooper, new Raider. Marcus Epps was a big signing from the Eagles. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does. He had a career high at 96, 97 tackles last season. So we'll see how he does there. Hopefully he gets a little bit aggressive with the ball in the air. I like to see that. Not so much penalty wise, but maybe create some interceptions. It's one thing that Raiders are very, very bad at, or always very bad at, is they don't get a lot of interceptions. I think we had 2 last year. And I think they were both by Amik Robertson. I could be wrong, though. It was 2 or 3. I think Amik Robertson had 2. Marcus Peters, another huge signing, perennial Pro Bowler. The last season had a little bit of a down season. but he's kind of reinvigorated. He said he feels great as a Raider. He belongs in a Raider uniform. So let's see if he is able to bring that kind of energy to the field. At cornerback, hopefully he finds his former self. Last season he only had one interception, so we'll see what he does this year. Hopefully it's big time Marcus Peters stats, interceptions, pass deflections. I would assume that they're going to try to stay away from him, but we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll test him out. I don't know. Another defensive player, Robert Spillane, kind of a backup linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll see what he does, see what kind of playing time he gets. I believe he's listed on the depth chart as number 1 outside linebacker. But again, he was a backup. Is he ready to be a full-time starter? We're going to find out. If he's not, like I said, we have Amari Burney just waiting there. I hear the sirens. Something bad's happening out there. But we have Amari Burney waiting in the wings. So, if Robert Spillane isn't going to get the job done, we have rookies ready to step up. Let me get a sip of my coffee here. My coffee. Join the goal. I ain't saying it. I whispered it, but I'm not going to say it. So those are the newer Raiders. There are a couple other ones, but I'm not gonna get into them. Those are guys that are probably not going to see a whole lot of playing time, just kind of fill in the gap kind of guys. Let me turn the page on my notes here. Wipe my mouth. All right, here we go again. Offensive starters. All right. Who's with me out there yet? All right. I see 4 viewers there up on my top of my screen, but I'm not seeing any comments. Let's go, people. Let's go. Wake up here. All right. The offensive depth chart, of course, we have Josh Jacobs as their starting running back. Again, they said that the workload's going to be his normal workload. I'm skeptical with that, so I expect to see a little bit of Zamir White against the Broncos. And I think Zamir White earned that. He had a decent preseason. So I think Zamir White earned that. He should get some carries in the first game. I feel like Josh Jacobs should have a little bit of a lightened workload, ease him back into the season. His running mate back there at fullback is Jakob Johnson. I don't know if I'm saying it right or not, but that's how I'm going to say it. And here we go. We got a comment. There we go. Eileen puts the old ghosted up there. Nobody's home. Just spirits. I'm working on FanDuel lineup for more. There you go. You know what? I really struggled with the FanDuel fantasy stuff when, putting lineups in. I think I did better with the sportsbook stuff. It's because, you can halfway through the game, you can kind of throw bets out there and, pray that it ends the way you think. But with the fantasy stuff, it was a super struggle. Adam Glenn says, yeah. A little bit of LA night there. All right. Back to the offensive starters. So we did our running back, fullback. Like I said, I feel like Zamir White's going to get some carries. He's our second string running back. Jimmy G, quarterback. Again, like I said, Hoyer listed as your number 2. Starting center, Andre James, who had a decent season last year. There were, again, just like all the offensive linemen, except for, I think, Colton Miller. There was times where they did struggle, and Andre James is just there as well. So hopefully he has a good year. If Andre James doesn't have a good year, I probably could see the Raiders looking for another center, but we'll see. Left guard, we have Dylan Parham, who was a Raiders draftee last year. Got a lot of playing time last year. I thought he did very well because he played a couple different positions. Last season, I think he was, from tackle to guard to tackle to guard, left side, right side. So I thought Dylan Parham did really good last season. And then, of course, Colton Miller had another really good season last year as the anchor of our offensive line, as the leader of our offensive line. Over there at right guard, we have Gregory Van Roten. He's been in the league about 9-10 years. I was looking I'd never heard of the guy, so I was looking it up. And he's been on and off a bunch of practice squads. Now, the last couple years, also a little bit of Canadian Football League type stuff. Back, I think it was like 15 and 16. the last couple seasons, I think he was with the Jets and Packers, I believe. But he got some starts there. From everything I read, he played well. So let's see what he can do there at right guard. So then at right tackle, we have Jermaine Ulemanor. Like I said, start of the season, not very good. Was about mediocre halfway through the season, and I feel like he finished the season strong. So he got better as the season went on. Hopefully he can carry that over to the beginning of the season. I know he was super pumped, super excited on the Twitter box, now X, but then it was the Twitter box. But he was super excited when he was re-signed by the Raiders, and said he's going to prove a lot of people wrong. So I'm excited for it. I'm really pulling for Ulemanor. I wanted him to do well, and really solidify our bookends. Left tackle's already pretty well taken care of. Let's see if we can get right tackle settled in there pretty good. Wide receiver 1, of course, is your Davante Adams. Awesome season last year. Had some career numbers. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think he had was it 1,300 yards receiving maybe. I think it was 1,200. 90-some receptions. I think he had 16 touchdowns, I think, maybe. I don't remember exactly. I'm throwing out fake numbers here. I shouldn't be doing that. But he had a really good season last year. Let's just say that. He had a good year last year. Had a very turbulent offseason. Some stuff in the media going on, whatever, this, that. I've talked about it before. I'm not going to get into it again because it's just going to piss me off. Jacoby Myers is a new Raider. Somebody I didn't mention with the new Raiders. That's my bad. He's coming over from the Patriots, and he's also the guy that gave us the win last season with the Raiders versus the Patriots. So maybe he was kind of telling us, giving us a hint, maybe dropping a little foreshadowing on us, saying, "Hey, I want to be a Raider, so I'm going to throw you guys the ball so you win the game." If you remember the end of the game, I think it was tied. Instead of going to overtime, the genius. We all say Bill Belichick's a genius. The hoodie, he's a genius. He's the smartest coach ever, the greatest coach in the world. And instead of going to overtime, he decides to throw hook and laterals. So they're out there throwing the ball all over. Jacoby Myers gets it, and he throws it back to, at least he thought he was, throwing it back to the Patriots quarterback, somebody Wilson. I can't remember his first name, but Wilson. He gets destroyed, blown up by Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones picks the ball up and scores the game-winning touchdown. So the genius, Bill Belichick, the genius, the greatest coach of all time. Well, it's nice when you have Tom Brady. That's all I'm going to say. The same thing with that douchebag over there in Denver, who we get to play tomorrow. It's nice when you have Drew Brees. All right? I'm just going to say that. Only one Super Bowl for Sean Payton. But it's really nice when you have Drew Brees. He can make you look good. So we'll see what happens there. I didn't see him win any Super Bowls or, making it deep in the playoffs when Drew Brees was gone. But we'll see. Well, Russell Wilson is not a bottom tier quarterback. He had a down year last year, but he's not a Drew Brees either. So let's hit some comments here. Rob Hefner says Hoyer could come in and win a game or two if needed. I don't want to see that at all. At all. I don't want to see Brian Hoyer anywhere near. The only way I want to see Brian Hoyer near the field or on the field is if he's picking up the kicking tee or holding a snap for a field goal or something. That's it. I would say either Jimmy G or go with the rookie. But he is a veteran. He has been there, done that type of thing, Brian Hoyer. But I don't want to see him at all. Adam says this will be Adam's last year with the Raiders. Get that out of your mouth. Stop that. That ain't right. The Raiders are going to do well this year, and Devontae is going to come back. Devontae is going to be a little bit happier. In the slot there, we have Hunter Renfrow doing his Hunter Renfrow type things, running terrific routes, breaking routes off, finding open space, making catches. Last year, he had a rough season last year, injury-wise, play-wise. But at the end of the season, when all pressure's off, you're not really playing for anything. He played well at the end of the season. Last few games, he played well. So, that's the Raiders starting offensive line. Tight end, we have Austin Hooper and Michael Mayer as your second string tight end. So I expect to see a good bit of Michael Mayer as well. I also expect to see a lot of Trey Tucker, the rookie wide receiver. And DeAndre Carter, I've been hearing a lot of good things about him. He was a wide receiver we picked up from the Los Angeles San Diego Chargers. So that's another new Raider I forgot to mention. So it is what it is. But those two guys I expect to see a lot from. DeAndre Carter is going to be our kick returner, punt returner. Super explosive, very elusive, shifty kind of guy, very fast. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see him carry some kick returns back. So before I move on to the defense, I'm going to read a comment here, and I'm going to do some sponsors. Rob Hefner says, F. Sean Payton. You know what? I'm going to throw a quarter in the old swear jar. Fuck Sean Payton and Russ. There we go. I'm with Rob on that one. So let's do a couple sponsor reads, and then I'll move on to our defensive starters. We'll start off with, let me find it here, the old Monkey Cold Coffee. So be sure to go to monkeycoldcoffee.com. Great coffee there. You have the Sumatran blend. It's the newest flavor. Just got it in the mail the other day. Shout out to Matt. Thanks a lot, buddy. I know down there, they're based out of Florida. Hurricane just came up through there. Hurricane iodine or something. I don't know. It starts with an I think. Lots of destruction down there. Well, hopefully he came out. I was shooting him a message. He came out of it, pretty well, but lots of people in Florida did not. So thoughts and prayers to people out in Florida, anybody affected by hurricanes and such. It's not. That's a scary thing. It really is. But hopefully they get everything fixed down there, and everybody's safe and sound. So monkeycoldcoffee.com. The Sumatran blend, like I said, is the newest flavor. I also ordered another bag of the bourbon chocolate chip. That also came with the Sumatran. Very excited to get those rolling through the old coffee maker. And, of course, my favorite is the toasted coconut rum. I absolutely love the smell of toasted coconut rum, the taste, without creamer and sugar. And even when you throw a little bit of milk or creamer in it and a little bit of sugar, it really makes I think, in my opinion, makes the flavor really explode. So very good coffee there at monkeycoldcoffee.com. They also have mugs, which you see me drinking out of. The tumblers, which I have. T-shirts, they don't have fat guy sizes yet, so I don't have one of those T-shirts, or I need to lose weight. I'd like to lose weight because I am really fat and it's not good for me, but it's hard. Don't judge me. The cold brew machine as well, the cold brew pitcher, that's a really neat contraption. I put out a video before on how to use it. I know Matt from monkeycoldcoffee.com, the owner, has also put out a video on how to use the cold brew pitcher. His video is much better than my video. I added way too much coffee in mine, and I tell you what, I was hyped for like 3 or 4 days. I was like bouncing off the walls. They also have the K-Cup adapter for all you K-Cup people out there. And also the rum cake. The rum cake's very good. So makes give that a shot, give that a try. The Sumatran blend comes in ground coffee and also the whole beans. So all you beaners out there who get all super sophisticated, put your pinky up drinking your coffee. Like, I only drink my coffee if I grind my own beans. Well, there you go. Get that Sumatran blend. Grind your own beans. Get into it, dude. So all that and much, much more at monkeycoldcoffee.com. And that checkout, be sure to use the promo code OOTB Sports for 10% off. That is OOTB Sports for 10% off. Make sure you use that promo code every single time. Tell them the Bat Fry sent you from the Silver and Black Lair. And then we have, of course, Big Al.
Jason Fine from J Fine Law. You can reach attorney Big Al at 1-800-HURT-12 800-HURT-123. Jason Fine, J Fine Law, specializes in motor vehicle accidents, slip and falls, workman's comp, and personal injury claims, which hopefully Jimmy Garoppolo does not have to use it all this year. No injuries, no personal injury claims, nothing like that. No workman's comp for Jimmy G this year. Dude is going to stay healthy, throw for 30 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, and he's taking the Raiders to the promised land. They have 3 convenient office locations throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. First, in the Garden State of New Jersey, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, to be more specific. The offices are located at 3 Greensward Lane. The phone number there is 856-209-5258. Then the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The office is located at 500 Grant Street, Suite 2900. The number there is 412-365-8151. And then the city of Brotherly Love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with the offices located at 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120. The phone number there is 267-888-2980. That's Jason Fine, attorney Big Al. Tell him the Bat Fry from Out of the Box Sports Entertainment sent you, and you'll get a discount. And last but not least, the Dugout Mug. I say it all the time. Dugout mugs are fantastic. I love the Dugout mugs. So many different varieties. Not just a plain Jane Dugout mug, but there's also, like I said, there's ash Dugout mugs. There's the painted Dugout mugs where the logo is painted. You got the shortstop mug, which is a little bit smaller than your regular Dugout mug. You have the one that's shaped like a wine glass. You have the knob shots. You have coasters. You have baseballs cut in half as bottle openers. You can get your Dugout mug personalized if you'd like. They have Hall of Fame Dugout mugs. Some of the Hall of Fame players, their signatures etched into the Dugout mug. They have the city skyline features, I believe, where some of the city, they have the skylines etched into the Dugout mug. They did have throwback Dugout mugs where you had some of the throwback logos on there from some of the baseball teams. So a lot of great stuff at dugoutmugs.com. Be sure to use that promo code OOTB Sports 20 for 20% off. That's OOTB Sports 20 for 20% off at dugoutmugs.com. Love me some Dugout mugs. Fantastic. They also have the aluminum bat mug. I showed this last night on the Atomic Drop podcast. Oh yeah, she's if you put a handle on that sucker, you're hitting dingers and drinking beer. I'll tell you what. I got some comments here before I hit the defense. Eileen says, "LOL, iodine." I don't remember. What I remember was an I. I'm pretty sure it was an I. And Adam Glenn says, "Fat ass." I think he's probably talking to Rob Hefner, but I can't be positive there. I think Adam Glenn's talking shit on you, Vegas Rob. I'm starting trouble. Rob says, "I need a Dugout mug for the Phillies and A's." I'll tell you what, I'm thinking about possibly getting an A's one as well, because that is a Las Vegas team that I will root for. I'm not going to root for the Vegas Golden Knights. If they're in the playoffs and the Kings are out of the playoffs, I will root for the Vegas Golden Knights. But besides that, they can kick dirt, kick rocks. That's my thought on that. But yeah, I'd like to get an A's one. That'd be pretty cool. I think Brother John, I know he isn't watching right now because he would have commented, but I think Brother John, he's an A's fan. He should get an A's one. If he gets an A's one, he can probably chip off that S and say, "Oh, it's an Alabama mug." Speaking of which, the Dugout mugs, I think they do some college ones. They do some college mugs, but you'd have to go on a website to check it out. I think I read that somewhere, but I could be wrong. And the hurricane name was Italian, LOL. Oh, no, Idalia. All right. Enough of being goofy. Let's roll through here. Next topic is the defensive starters. So let's roll through that here. Excuse me. I get a sip of my Monkey Colt coffee. Here's Roderick. You see Roderick there? Their mascot, their logo, Roderick.
So the coffee I'm drinking, like I said, I got a bag of the bourbon chocolate chip in. I also got a bag of the Sumatran blend. But Matt, the owner from Monkey Cold Coffee, also gave me a sample of a coffee that they're working on right now. It's very good. I really like it. It's I'm not sure exactly what the name is going to be on it, so I don't want to throw it out there. But it's a little bit different. But I like it. It has good flavor to it. That's a little bit of sugar in it, a splash of milk, and I think it's very good. So I'm excited for that flavor to come out for all you guys to try out there. Buy your goddamn coffee. Buy the dugout mug, the aluminum bat dugout mug. Get yourself some coffee. Put the coffee in the aluminum bat dugout mug. Well, you can even do it in a wooden one. They could take hot liquids as well as cold liquids. So there we go. All right, defensive starters. Now that I'm done pitching here, Adam Glenn says, "Okay, get you a Phillies mug." Well, so I do have the Reading Fightins, which is the Phillies AA. That's as close as I'm ever going to get to a Phillies mug, Adam Glenn. If I ever did get a Phillies mug, it would be sold on eBay. No, I'd give it to my daughter. I ain't going to lie to you. I'd give it to my daughter. She's a Phillies fan, and I support it. Anyway, so the defensive starters for the Raiders, let's start with the defensive line. Of course, our All-Pro, our Pro Bowler, Mad Max Crosby had a career season last year. I believe it was 12 and a half sacks. Just a continuous motor. Dude is always in the backfield. He's the leader of the defense, if you ask me. He's the captain. He's the leader. He's the head honcho. He's the boss. Mad Max, that's a guy we want to make sure we sign long term, because I feel like he has a long career ahead of him, and he could be one of those legacy type players. The other defensive end, like I talked, Chandler Jones out. A lot of issues going on there. I don't know what to think of it. So real quick, the story with Chandler Jones, from what I read on the interwebs, he wanted to go work out over the holiday weekend, but the doors were locked to the facilities, and they wouldn't let him in, and he was pissed. He had to go work out at a local gym. And I'll tell you what, I don't blame the guy for being pissed. How is it that the professional football player does not have access to the weights, to the weight room? How is that even possible? The dude should have a key fob. He should be able to go over, hit the old key fob there, walk his ass in there, and either lift weights, watch film, whatever he has to do. I don't understand how he does not have access to the facility. It boggles my mind. I think he has every right to be pissed off about that. I'm pissed off about it. The guy wants to get better. He didn't have a great season last year. He underperformed wildly, and the Raiders fans were killing him for it. Let the man work out. Let him go in and work out. You put all that money into beautiful facilities and stuff like that Las Vegas has. Let him lift his weights. Let him pick things up and put them down. Let him do it. Let him watch film. I don't understand it. So that's my rant with that. But then it took a little turn there where the Raiders sent over I don't want to say like a crisis prevention type thing where like they're going to check on a welfare check type of thing, saying that he was in a bad way. So, he's, posted on the Twitter box, the Raiders sending the crisis prevention team over, stuff like that. So I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with Chandler Jones right now. He put out there after he wasn't able to get in the facilities. He put out on social media, I don't know if it was on the Instagram or the X, formerly Twitter, that Josh McDaniels is not his coach, will never be his coach. The Raiders defensive coordinator, what's his name? I think Patrick. No, is it Patrick Graham? It's something like that. He's not his coach. Basically bashing the coaching staff. He's pissed. I get it. I'm pissed for him, and they should take the heat for it. Absolutely, I believe they should. But there's something else going on. It seems like so we'll just kind of stay tuned for that and see what goes on with that. I think there's more to that story, and I think it's going to develop over the next week or two. And see what happens. I got distracted here by a comment from our boy Paul Spencer. Let me put it up there. It says, let's go Texas Longhorns 27-16. Sorry, I had to shout that out. I hate Bama. Is the game over, Paul? I know last time I checked the Longhorns were up. I don't remember what quarter it was, though. Brother John's a big Alabama fan. So's my niece, his daughter. That whole family's a big Alabama fan, and so I kind of root for Alabama with them. But I understand the hate for Alabama. My oldest daughter, she wants to play softball for the Texas Longhorns, which is a huge long shot. But so she kind of roots for Texas a little bit. At least softball she roots for him, but I don't know about college football. Not that she's going to watch it or anything. 9 minutes left in the fourth. There's still a good bit of time yet, so I wouldn't count it out yet. Rob Hefner says, F Alabama. You know what? Throwing another quarter in to the old swear jar. Fuck Alabama. There we go. So the defensive starters, defensive tackles. I did your ends. With Chandler Jones being out, you're going to have rookie Tyree Wilson's going to get to start, but they're going to rotate a lot of people in and through there. But Tyree Wilson should get the bulk of the snaps there at defensive end. Really excited for that. That's the reason they brought him in. Chandler Jones underperformed. We need a rush. There we go. I mean, the Raiders weren't very good. I think they're near the bottom in sacks last season. So, besides Mad Max, nobody else was getting the sacks. Up the middle, we have Jerry Tillery. Jerry Tillery and Bilal Nichols. They were starters last year for the most part, in and out a lot. A couple big bodies up the middle. They're more known as your kind of get up the field type of defensive tackles for pass rush. But they are bigger dudes. They can stop the run. Not super great at it, which does hurt. Linebackers or middle linebacker. I really like this guy, Divine Diablo. I'm a big Divine Diablo fan. I hope he does well. I think he's if I remember correctly, a little bit of a smaller type linebacker. I think that's what I'm thinking of, or am I thinking of Luke Masterson? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm a big Divine Diablo fan. I feel like he's going to do well. I thought he did well last year. I think he got hurt near the end of the season. I could be wrong. Outside linebacker, Robert Spillane. Like I said, we picked up from Pittsburgh this year, so let's see how he does being a full-time starter. And the other linebacker, Luke Masterson. This is one of our weak spots, is that linebacker, even though as much as I like Divine Diablo and Luke Masterson, linebacker is kind of a weak spot. So let's see if hopefully I'd like to see Amir Burney get in there a little bit, see what he can do. See if he can be a playmaker or rush the quarterback, perhaps. I think he's a converted safety 2 linebacker, so he has a little bit of speed and some playmaking ability. So let's see what happens there. Starting cornerbacks, you have Nate Hobbs. Was a starter last year for the Raiders, and Marcus Peters, like I mentioned earlier, the Raiders just brought him in. So, hopefully he returns back to his form from his all of his Pro Bowl and all pro years and stuff like that. So let's hopefully he returns, like at the fountain of youth type of thing. Free safety, Trayvon Mooring, again, another Raider from the past couple seasons. He's been decent at free safety. I think it's been okay. The Raiders' secondary has always been terrible. Not always, but since 2003, basically has been terrible. So hopefully we're starting to turn it around a little bit. And the strong safety, Marcus Epps, like I said, the pickup from Philly. Very excited for that. A lot of tackles last year. Like I said, career high in tackles. I think it was 96. So hopefully he continues that. Hopefully these guys can produce some interceptions, which would be fantastic. I'd love that. Get some picks there. Some turnovers would be great. Get that defense off the field and the offense back on, which was rough last year because the defense, with Derek Carr throwing interceptions last year, I don't remember how many threw exactly, 15, 16, whatever it was. That means the defense is out there a lot more, and that leads to worse numbers. When your defense isn't good, but they're still getting off the field occasionally, then right back on again, it's just it's not good for anybody except for the other team. And also, like I mentioned, Jacorian Bennett. Rookie, he should see a decent amount of time at nickelback, I believe. Look at his photograph. Anyway, Nickelback. Anyway,
So whenever they run a nickel package, our nickel back would be Jacorian Bennett. So he should get a decent amount of playing time. I'm excited to see what he can do. And our kick returner and punt returner is going to be DeAndre Carter, which I mentioned earlier, a guy we picked up from the Los Angeles, San Diego Chargers. Explosive guy. I think he had a career season last year returning for the Chargers. I think he was near the top of the league as a returner. So I'm excited to see what the defense can do. I think it's better than last season right now, but it's still not up to snuff where it's not up to where you need it to be. It's not a game changer. But like, again, if they can just be mediocre instead of bad, I think that'd just go a long way. It really would. Get some turnovers, get some sacks, get your asses off the field in big spots. There we go. Eileen with the old music there. Look at his photograph. I see Nickelback so many times. I think they're fantastic live. I like a lot of their music. I know a lot of people hate it, but it is what it is. I marched to my own drummer, and I respect the people that hate it. I get why you hate it, but I dig it. So, ooh, are we having fun yet? Yeah. Yeah. Are we having fun yet? There we go. These five, whatever. Paul Spencer says they cost me $18,000 in the BCS game versus Notre Dame. $1,400 ticket to the game, $1,000 airfare and hotel for 4 days. I bet $15,000. I took Irish plus 16. They lost 42-14. I left at halftime in my hotel room with 2 days left. I don't know if I would. I get leaving at halftime because that was a bad game, really bad game. That's when Manti Te'o was still at linebacker and stuff like that, and the whole controversy with the whole catfishing thing, this, that, and the other. I'm not going to get into that. I did watch a special on that, which absolutely blew my mind. But yeah, that was a very bad BCS game. That's when I used to love listening to ESPN radio in the mornings because that's when Mike and Mike would be on. Mike Golick and Mike Greenberg, and Golick being a Notre Dame guy, his kid being Notre Dame kids, for the most part. So a lot of they're all pumped for Notre Dame. I think his kid actually played in that game. Mike Golick Jr., who's terrific on the radio as well. He's a very funny kid, or man, I guess now fella. But yeah, I wouldn't leave that hotel room with 2 days left. I'd find something else to do to kind of lift my spirits, whether I was heavy drinking or an amusement park or, one of those, find yourself a gentleman's club or something. I don't know, but I would have found something different to do. Those 2 days left, you got to find something. Me personally, I probably would have found like the Cupcake District or, Sweets and Eats or something like that, or a Waffle House for 2 days. I would have figured something out. There ain't no way I would have left two days on that. First off, I would have bet that kind of money. There ain't no way I would have been able to show my face anywhere near home, betting that kind of money. But if you got it, that's plus 14, or what was it, plus 14 or 16? It was plus 16. Yeah, it's like, okay, they can, if they lose by 2 touchdowns, you still win money, but to lose by much, much more than that it was a shock. It was a bummer, because they had a great defense all that season. And Alabama just steamrolled their asses. All right, so defense is done here. I'm hoping, like I said, defense turns around a little bit. We're going to move on to schedule talk. Here we go. Let me pull up the old schedule overlay here my buddy Paul put together for me. Again, a shout out to Paul. He does a great job on this stuff here. I love it. And there we go. Schedule time. Beautiful. Look at that. That's beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? Great job, Paul. I love it. Awesome. All right. So I wrote down what I think the score is going to be, win, loss, and all that stuff. I'm not going to get too much in depth. I'll go week by week with that stuff. My nose is itchy. I'm not picking my nose. My nose is itchy. It wasn't a pick. So week 1, of course, at Denver. The Raiders have done pretty well against the Broncos the last few seasons. I think it's going to continue. I'm really interested to see what Russell Wilson does do. Struggling as he did last year. Struggling but not struggling. He wasn't his typical Russell Wilson,
but he still didn't have a terrible year. If you go back and look at the numbers, it's like, all right, that's not terrible, but it wasn't Russell Wilson. It didn't look like Russell Wilson, didn't sound like Russell Wilson. Maybe give credit to Pete Carroll. Maybe he saw something. So like, you know what, Russell Wilson's done. Let's get him out of here. Let's get something else going on. So maybe that's something that could have happened. I don't know. Maybe I'm just giving too much credit to Pete Carroll, but and the Seattle Sea Chickens. But it's going to be interesting. Of course, they have they always have a really good defense. So I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a close game. I have the Raiders winning 24-20. I hate the Broncos. The Broncos are the team I hate the most for whatever reason, whether it's that horse face John Elway or whatever. I don't know what it is. I hate the Broncos, the ponies, the donkeys, the Denver douchebags, whatever you want to call them. That's what they are. Week 2, we travel to Buffalo. I see that as a loss. Buffalo's a very good team still. I feel like they had a window that was wide open, and I just feel it closing year after year. Josh Allen taking a lot of hits as a running quarterback. He's a big running quarterback, but he does take a lot of hits. He does take a pounding. He is playing in Buffalo. It gets cold in the end of the season. Those hits hurt a little bit more in the cold. So, but I do think Buffalo's going to have another good season. I do think Buffalo's going to go to the Super Bowl. I'd like to see Buffalo win the Super Bowl, but I think they're going to go. I think this year's their year to go to the Super Bowl. We'll see what happens, though. So I think they're going to lose. The Raiders are going to lose to Buffalo 31-17. I don't even think it's going to be that close, to be honest with you. It's good that the Raiders aren't traveling to Buffalo in December or January, but they're still traveling to Buffalo. Typically, they don't do great in the East. Rob Hefner is picking the Raiders to win 21-20. So, yeah, fairly close. I said 24-20, so you're picking a little bit closer, but Adam Glenn says, you would find all you can eat. I would. I absolutely would. And I'd cry my salty tears away if my team was Notre Dame and they lost by that much. Paul says, it really is beautiful, LOL. I don't know what's beautiful. Hopefully, I think he means Alabama losing, I think, but I could be wrong. The Bearcats, Cincinnati beat my Pitt Panthers. That's a bummer. Next week. They always play good games. Pitt and Cincinnati, they always play really good games. Adam Glad says, no way will Peyton lose his first game as Denver coach. You may be right, Adam Glenn, but I hate the Broncos. I will pick the Raiders over the Broncos 100 times out of 100. I don't care if the Raiders had 11-year-olds playing on their team. If they had the JV team playing as their starters, I'm still going to pick the Raiders over the Broncos. I don't care. I try to be right down the middle, try to be honest with myself about stuff, but with the Broncos, when it comes to Broncos, no way, no how. Not going to happen. Paul Spencer says overlay is beautiful. It really is, Paul. Like I said, you did a hell of a job. I appreciate it so much. You put a lot of work into this stuff. Hopefully I do you proud with mumbling and saying and forgetting shit all the time. Vegas Rob, the mayor, says, come to Vegas, all you can eat 24/7. I'll tell you, when I went to Jamaica, we had all-inclusive, and that was the greatest thing ever. That was the greatest thing in my life. I don't want to talk about drinking too much, but I was getting so inebriated by like 10 o'clock in the morning, because I'd walk to the little hut, I'd get 2 drinks, and I'd tuck one underneath the arm. I'd get a flag. I'd walk to my seat. I'd stick the flag in the sand, signifying I need another drink, and I'd start hammering down those 2 drinks. They'd come over, and what can I get you? And I'd be like, 2 of whatever, whatever I was drinking at the time. They'd bring 2 more back, and they'd walk away, and I'd slowly put that flag back up. Well, then like an hour after doing that, I'm bombed. Well, then I go stumbling. Like I know there's a soft serve ice cream machine on the beach somewhere. There it is. So I hit that soft serve ice cream machine like there's no tomorrow. And then, of course, 2 or 3 hours later, we hit lunch, and it's all you can eat. So I'm coming out of my drunken stupor. I'm hammering all this Jamaican food, which was pretty good. Well, fast forward to the evening. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Me and my buddy are out drinking at a bar on the resort. go stumbling back to our room. Well, what do we happen to come across while we're stumbling back to our room? But a 24/7 all-you-can-eat burger place. Well, why not get a couple burgers? For the walk back to the room. So it's fantastic. All inclusive, all day, all night, man. I'll tell you what. I had a lot of fun in Jamaica. I really want to do it again before I die, but it feels like I'm going to die first. Paul says Vegas. I'm at the sports book, the bar and buffet in that order. So book, bar, buffet, book, bar, buffet, book, bar, buffet. The 3 Bs. Spencer got it down. The book, bar, buffet. And Eileen thinks this is hilarious. All right, so I did the Buffalo Bills. So then we travel in week 3. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers coming in to Allegiant Stadium. I feel like we're gonna beat Pittsburgh. It's gonna be another close game, 20-13. Hopefully they're all over Kenny Pickett. It was a good game last year and a little bit of weather. I feel like the Raiders could have beaten the Steelers last year, but weather played a huge part of that. Is the last game that Derek Carr played for the Raiders. Breaks my heart, but it is what it is. Week 4 at the Los Angeles San Diego Chargers. I think that's going to be a loss because it's there in LA, 28-24. I do like Justin Herbert. I think he's a very good quarterback. I don't hate the Chargers, so not like I hate Denver. So week 5, Green Bay comes into town. I feel like we're going to beat Green Bay. I feel like they're going to have a down year as they work towards replacing Aaron Rodgers and some other guys that have left over the course of the offseason. I feel like the Raiders are going to win that game 31-20. Week 6, we have the Patriots coming back into town. Week 6. There it is. Week 6, we have the Patriots coming into town. I feel like the Raiders are going to beat them again. I like seeing the Patriots lose, and Josh McDaniels beating the Patriots. There we go. That's something he does do well. I feel like the Raiders are going to win that one 27-24. Then we go to Chicago, and I feel like we're going to put together 3 wins in a row, beat them Bears 23-16 at Soldier Field before we hit a rough spot in our schedule here. So then we traveled to Detroit, and Detroit seems to be like they're going to have a pretty good season this year. I know a lot of people are really jumping on that bandwagon. Me, not quite yet, but I feel like they're going to be pretty decent. I feel like the Raiders are going to lose that game 34-27. Then we have the New York Giants coming in to Allegiant Stadium. Giants, I think they're going to be okay this year. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, but I think they're going to be a team, one of those teams that kind of hang around and are on the cusp of being a playoff team. So I do like the Giants in that game, 2017. I do like Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes. I like him. I don't think Darren Waller's going to play that game because, of course, Darren Waller will be hurt because that's what Darren Waller does. I'm not a Darren Waller fan. I liked Darren Waller in the beginning, first year. Then he kind of started blowing up and kind of seemed like he became a little bit full of himself. So anyway, then we have the Jets, the New York Jets there, Eileen, coming into town, coming into Allegiant Stadium. I think the Raiders are going to lose to the Jets. We go from 3 wins to 3 losses. I feel like it's going to be 26-20. It's going to be a good game. Then you're going to have an awesome bro hug at the middle of the field between Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, and where Aaron Rodgers whispers into Devontae Adams' ear, let's do what Adam Glenn says. Devontae, you come to New York and be a Jet. And then Devontae kisses Aaron's ear and says, no, Aaron, you come to Las Vegas. And then they walk away from each other, and nothing is ever done. So before I go to week 11, I'm going to hit up some comments here so I don't fall back too far. Rob says it would be okay with Buffalo winning the Super Bowl. My work wife is from there. Plus, they went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row and lost. Yeah. They had some pretty good teams back then, but so did the Cowboys and the Redskins and the Giants. So, right? Did they lose to the Redskins as well? No, that was the Broncos lost to the Redskins. Buffalo lost to Dallas. Was it twice? San Francisco beat San Diego. Who else did Buffalo lose to? I don't remember. I don't recall. Oh, man. It was 4 in a row. I don't think it was 3 times against Dallas. I feel like it was 2. Definitely 2. They also lost to it doesn't matter. I don't know why the hell I'm worrying about it. It doesn't really matter. It has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. But yeah, 4 in a row. So it would be nice to see them win one. As long as the Raiders aren't there, fighting for that, for the Super Bowl. So Eileen says, it's my favorite part of Saturday night. I always enjoy the energy you bring. Yeah, that's me. Just a fireball of energy with my coffee. Eileen, I love all the comments you put out. You keep me going. You and especially Adam Glenn, are always commenting. Love it. And we have, of course, Vegas Rob here and Paul checking in. But you two are the constants. When you guys don't comment, I get a little bit nervous. I want to call the police and see if you guys are all right, but I don't. I hold back. I'm like, all right, hold back. And then let's go from there, make sure that they're all right. Then you guys end up commenting. I'm like, oh, thank God. Paul says, okay, that's it. Next Out of the Box sports trip to Vegas next year. Viewers are welcome to go. Eileen and Adam. There you go, Adam. Go out there and kick Vegas Rob's ass. Eileen says Aaron Rodgers hands him a Jetsters. That would be something. That would, they'll probably do a jersey exchange, but Aaron Rodgers takes his jersey off and it's one of those reverse jerseys that flips into a Devontae Adams jersey, and that'd be hilarious. That would kill me. Paul Spencer says 3 to the Cowboys. LOL. Yeah. Well, was it 3? So okay. I knew it was definitely 2. I forgot about the Giants. I don't know why, because that was was that the Scott Norwood kick, which is such a bummer for the Bills there because they had it. But anyway, Adam Glenn also says the Giants. Thank you. Giants in 91. Yep. All right, so moving on with the schedule here. Week 11 at Miami. The Raiders always struggle in Miami, but I feel like they can get a win there this time around. I don't know why I think that, but I'd like wishful thinking possibly. But I can see a win or a loss. Like I said, they always struggle in Miami. It doesn't matter if they're good, they're bad. Miami's good or bad. My cousin Dan, huge Miami fan, as well as his mom. And it's okay if Miami wins. It brings a smile to my face. My late uncle Dan's dad, Uncle Dan, was a huge Miami fan. So if Miami does win, it brings a smile to my face. I like seeing that. But I think the Raiders are going to win that game 34-30. Then we have the Queefs, the Kansas City Queefs. I feel like the Raiders lose that one at home, 34-24. They are getting close to the end of the season. Chiefs are looking to start their roll towards the postseason, and that's where it's going to start. Then they're going to play Minnesota in Las Vegas, beat the Vikings 24-10. Then they play the Los Angeles San Diego Chargers at Allegiant Stadium. And that's where we get that win back, 30-21. So things are starting to look up for the Raiders, starting to push towards the postseason a little bit. Then they go to Arrowhead and get their asses whipped, 38-20. Then we have Indianapolis coming in. So that's a nice time to have Indianapolis coming in. They should have a down year this year in Indianapolis. So I think that's going to be a nice win for the Raiders, 34-20. And last game of the season, we have the Denver Ponies coming into town. Probably a playoff spot, if my record's correct, possibly a playoff spot hanging in the balance. And I feel like we're going to beat the Denver Ponies 27-10 or 27-17 and potentially make the playoffs. So I have the final season record being 10-7. Last year, I think I had the Raiders, I don't remember what me, Paul and I went through a week-by-week schedule on the first episode I was ever on the Las Vegas sports scene. I did it with Paul. And we went over the schedule for the Raiders last year. I think I had the Raiders at 12-5 or 13-4 or something outlandish. And of course, they went out there and shit the bed. So what the hell do I know? You know what I mean? This is all just, kind of like, oh, I'd like to see this. I'd like to see that. Well, this is here. This is there. Kind of stuff that I bring into the factor. So, but it would be nice to see the Raiders make a run towards the playoffs or at least be in the serious conversation of the playoffs. Like not like last year where, the Raiders still have a chance if they beat this team, this team, this team, and this team, and this team, and this team, and this team loses. None of that. Just being serious contention would be enough for me for this season anyway. Vegas Rob says, bring it. I'll be here waiting. I'll be here, Sin City, to welcome you, pal. So Adam Glenn, Rob Hefner's calling you out. I don't know. If you guys don't know, I am a pot stirrer. I like to cause trouble. I'm like the mischief maker. I'm like, let's start some trouble. Let's see who we can get arguing and fighting. I get all excited and poking and poking and poking. I do it to my dad all the time. Pappy Fry, I'm always poking at him. Like, Dad, did you hear what they said? This person said this. And he looks at me. I'm like, no, I'm just kidding, Dad. And so he doesn't know what the hell to believe half the time. I'm a troublemaker. I am a troublemaker. But I don't, really cause real trouble. But I like to get people all worked up and, scratching their head. Adam Glenn says 9-8 swept by Denver. Adam Glenn, Monday, I will kick you in the ass. Now, if you said 9-8, I'm fine with that. But the whole sweat by Denver, you're looking to push my buttons. You're being the troublemaker. You're being the Mike the Mischief kind of kid here. You better slow your roll there, fella. All right, so I'm going to come up on my last topics here before I ride off into the sunset. A couple things I want to do. I'm just going to talk about some of the things I'm going to do throughout the season as I do the Silver and Black Lair. So, tonight, 9 o'clock, great. It's not always going to be Saturday night, 9 o'clock. My schedule's always varying, working overtime. Camping season's still in effect. I don't know how much we're going to get up the rest of the season, it's because we have September and that's it. But yeah, I'll be working some overtime. And, if we're out doing something like a daughter has a tournament or something like that for softball or whatever, there may be a chance I can't get on here for 9 o'clock, so I'll be moving times around a little bit. I'm going to try to keep it steady 9 o'clock on Saturday nights, but we'll see what happens. I'll always communicate it. I'll put it out there when it's going to be. But I'm hoping to keep it at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night because it seems like a good time. And anyway, so some of the things I'm going to do this year with our sponsors – I'm just going to use their names. I'm not going to run a promo off it because they're already doing the, use the OOTBS at checkout, promo stuff. But I'm going to do a Jay Fine Law defensive player to watch every week. I'm going to do a Dugout Mugs offensive player to watch every week. And then I'm going to do a Monkey Colt Coffee player of the game after the game. So either I'll do a quick little video saying, talk about the Raiders and saying, hey, so-and-so was the Monkey Colt Coffee player of the game. Or the next episode, I'll do start the episode off when I'm talking about recapping the game from the previous week. I will say, the Monkey Colt Coffee player of the week was so-and-so. The player of the game was so-and-so. So that's what I'm going to do each and every week. I think it's going to be a little fun thing to do. And I'll probably do some power rankings as well, but we'll see what happens. We'll play that one by ear. I mean, by ear, not rear, ear. So we'll start it off with the Jay Fine Law defensive player to watch. For me, it's an obvious choice. The Jay Fine Law defensive player to watch is Max Crosby. Let's see if he can come out there with that high energy. If he can lift the other defensive lineman up to his level, if they can feed off some of that energy. Tyree Wilson, a young dude over there, he's supposed to have a terrific motor on him as well. So if we can get those two guys rolling on the corners, who knows what could happen? They could really wreak some havoc. Once Chandler Jones does get back into the lineup, back on the team, I feel like he ended the season, fairly strong before he got hurt. So, but this week, the Jay Fine Law player to watch on defense is Max Crosby. And offensively, the Dugout Mugs offensive player to watch for me is Josh Jacobs. I'd like to see what they're going to do workload-wise. What does he look like? Does he look fresh? Does he look rusty? Stuff like that. So I think for a couple different reasons, the Dugout Mugs offensive player to watch for me will be Josh Jacobs. So I also I wanted to do you know what, I forgot one. Let me type it in there real quick before I want to make it official, but I'm also doing one for the network. So the out of the box, I'm typing it in right now. This is breaking news. You know, you hear typing and out of the box. I'm a finger typer. All right, hang on. Don't bear with me. All right. So I'm going to add banner. And I'm going to put it up there now. So another one I'm going to do is the out of the box rookie to watch. So what rookie do I think is going to make an impact? So what rookie are we going to keep an eye on here week 1? I believe it's going to be Trey Tucker, wide receiver. I think he's going to get a decent amount of playing time. And if it's a shootout type game, which I don't think it's going to be, I think it's going to be more of a grinding kind of game. But if they do end up passing more than they're running, I think Trey Tucker is going to be a huge asset to have for the Raiders. And as a rookie, he's my rookie to watch for the first week 1. So that's it's going to be a lot of fun doing this week to week, I think. And like I said, I'll be doing the Monkey Cold Coffee player of the game. After the game, either I'll do it right after the game, depending on what time the games are and what I'm doing, or I'll do it the following week on the next episode of the Silver and Black Lair. Or I could even do just like a post or whatever, or like a quick clip or something like a promo. So that's what I have on the Raiders for week 1. And like I said, as we move along with the Silver and Black Lair, I'll also be talking LA Kings hockey. Right now, it's nothing really going on. They're coming up on the preseason here pretty soon. I believe the season starts in October. So in the next few weeks, I'll be talking more LA Kings. I'll be talking moves that they made, who they brought in, who they traded away. There's some pretty big names that they traded away this season, which was kind of a shock to me. But let's see how it goes. You know, they brought in Pierre-Luc Dubois, and they traded away 3 pretty important pieces for him. So again, let's see what happens. They were able to re-sign Anze Kopitar, our captain. Congratulations to Dustin Brown. He retired, I guess it's 2 seasons ago now, the end of 2022. Well, I guess it was technically 2023. The Kings were in the playoffs. It was his last game as a King. And it was 2022. Yeah, the end of 2022. And he's going into the Hockey Hall of Fame. So congratulations to Dustin Brown. He was a forever King. He played his whole career in Los Angeles. So very, very, very excited to see that news. Congratulations to Dustin Brown. I know he watches every week. He tells me so. So shout out to you, Dustin Brown. Congratulations, buddy. So that's all I got. Let me read some comments here. We got 5. All right, guys. I love it. There we go. We got somebody different commenting. Cowboy Dave, the showstopper. I'm going to say Raiders are 1-0 to start the season. Thanks, Cowboy Dave. I say the Cowboys are going to be 1-0 to start the season. There we go. You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. Rob Hefner says, I'll come back to the Skook and kick Adam's ass. Uh-oh. There we go. It's on. Rob says, just kidding, buddy. Our families are families. Our families are related. So you guys are practically brothers. There we go. I'm going to call Adam Glenn Adam Hefner. And I'm going to call Rob Hefner Rob Glenn. Mayor. I'm excited to see what Mayor can do as well. I was kind of kicking it back and forth between Trey Tucker and Michael Mayer, but I want Trey Tucker. I think Trey Tucker can be a game breaker with his speed and stuff like that, athleticism. So Adam Glenn says the Kings, another rival I can bust your balls about. Yeah, pretty much. It's Kings and Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas Golden Knights winning the Stanley Cup last season. The Kings, those 2 teams were neck and neck all season last year, going back and forth. One in the Pacific Division, and then 1 and 2 in the West. For a while before the Edmonton Oilers kind of just came out of nowhere. Edmonton Oilers are a super talented team. Second half of the season, they just took over. They almost took the number 1 seed from Las Vegas, but Edmonton had a hell of a second half, and I really thought Edmonton was going to win a Stanley Cup last year. They were so hot going into the playoffs, and it just didn't happen. They went cold against Las Vegas. If you would ask me 10 times out of 10, I said there's no way Las Vegas is going to beat the Edmonton Oilers in a 7-game series last season. They did it. Much kudos, much respect to Las Vegas when they beat Edmonton that series. That's where I started. You know what? They can do this. They can make a run to the Stanley Cup again and win it this year, especially with the Bruins being out after the first round. So Adam Glenn says his little sister married my cousin. We are family. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. All right. I guess that's Adam's sister, Kristen, maybe, right? I think. Dave Yarnell says, I have softball in the morning, then the Phils game in the afternoon, so I won't catch much football until tomorrow night to watch the boys play. I'm kind of in the same boat as you there, Dave. My youngest daughter has a softball game at 1. The little guy, my little boy, has soccer pitchers at 1. And my oldest daughter has softball practice 2 to 4, so I'll be doing a little bit of radio listening for football, but it is what it is. I wouldn't trade it for the world. So we'll be doing a lot of hustling. My daughter, I want to give a quick out to my daughter's new travel softball team, the Lehigh Valley Patriot Flames. They had a round robin today, 3 games. They won all 3 games. Looked very good. So my daughter did well. Had threw a couple girls out stealing second base. A couple nice other plays besides that. Kind of go into a little bit here, but dragging this on. Had a couple nice hits, but really did a terrific job behind the plate. So shout out to all those girls on the Lehigh Valley Patriot Flames and the coaching staff. Hell of a job today, and hopefully they carry that momentum over into the tournament coming up here in 2 weeks and go home with the gold. So we'll see what happens. But that's where I was all day today, out there at the softball field. The rain held off, and it was hot as balls. I kind of felt for it. It was warm out there. It was warm just watching them. I couldn't imagine playing in it. But yeah. So shout out to them, and also to the former team my daughter used to play for and I used to coach, the 9 Your Average Janes. Good luck to them. And they had a scrimmage I think last week or 2 weeks ago. They did well in. So congratulations to them. And I wish them nothing but the best. I love that team, and like they're my own daughters, those girls. So I've been coaching them for 4 or 5 years. I've seen them grown up, and some of those girls I coached longer through rec softball and stuff. So, but anyway, move on from that, and we have Cowboy Dave says, if you smell what the Cowboys fan is cooking, go boys, go. That was my best rock right now. I'm kind of losing my mouth is getting kind of dry. That's the best I can do. Rob says, once I get my show going, Ken Fry, I'll have you on once in a while so we can talk some Raiders. Would love to have you on to talk Golden Knights and Kings when they play. Absolutely. Yeah, we could have a nice little show with when the Golden Knights and Kings play when I'm available, because sometimes they play during the week and I'm working. So all right, so that's all I got for today, guys. I appreciate everybody checking out and commenting on the first episode of the Silver and Black Lair. Hopefully I was able to entertain you as well as give you a little bit of insight into the Raiders fans' head, and with the Raiders, to what to look for with the Raiders this year a little bit. And we have another comment here. Adam Glenn says, yeah, let me talk to you. A little bit more LA Knight going on there. He got his hooks in me. LA Knight got his hooks in me too. So I'm walking around, yeah, now. So it's ridiculous. All right, so that's all I got for today. Be sure to check me out. Like I said, I'd like to keep it Saturdays at 9, but I work overtime. I need to work overtime, more overtime, because you got bills, and if it's available, you got to do it. So thanks for checking it out. I'll see everybody later. Thank you. Just win, baby. Go Raiders.